My family tells me that I announced, I'm going to go to Bolivia and I'm going to marry this girl. So they thought, well, either he's going to come back with a bride or a broken heart, one way or the other. In fact, this is probably the best one of our wedding. Oh, that's when we went to the Rose Parade, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a picture of Kyle as a baby.
This is one of my favorite ones, Kyle, too.
As a region, I chose South America, basically because I knew nothing about South America. So they tell me I'm going to Bolivia, and they tell me the name of the town and the family that I'm going to stay with. We all showed up at school one day, and it turns out there was a protest. My language and my understanding of exactly what's going on wasn't all that great at the time, but all I knew was, hey, we're not going to class, we're going to go do this other thing. And I was like, okay, I'm all in.
And I was with my friends there walking, and across, farther up, I saw this tall blonde kid, and I looked at it and I thought he was really cute. I approached him. I wanted to talk to him. He was just learning the language, so he couldn't talk to me very much.
So she was unbelievable. I was just blown away.
And then we left, and I forgot all about it. You know, I just went on with my life and my friends and all that.
A couple of good friends of mine come talking to me, and they're asking me this and that. And he says, you know, do you like any of the girls here in town? And I says, yeah, Liliana, I really like Liliana. And it turns out one of my friends had the nickname of Gringo, and he knew her. The two of them walked me to her front door, and we knock on the door, right? And Gringo stays there at the door. So Mom goes back into the house to get Liliana, and then they swap Gringos, and they put me at the door.
My mom comes and says, Gringo is looking for you. I go outside, and Gringo is not the Gringo that I was thinking, but is Eric. It was just a complete surprise to me to see him in my front door, because I had forgotten about him.
We walked to the plaza and sat and talked, spent the rest of the evening together. And then we kind of split up a little bit after that, after a couple of months.
But I was 16, I was really young, you know, so it was kind of like not so serious for me. And then he left, and that was it. And all I had was this picture with this dedication that I didn't understand. You know, in English. He didn't even put it in Spanish, you know, he left it in English.
It was certainly during my first year at the Maritime Academy that I thought, you know, I don't want to let her go. I don't want to just give up on this.
And then I got a letter in the mail from him.
So I addressed it from memory and sent that letter just almost as a, well, who knows?
I was completely surprised. I mean, completely surprised.
And she wrote me back. It was amazing. It was like one of the happiest days of my life when I get this letter from her. I was like, oh my God, she wrote me back.
I think that when you write, you're more honest. Through those letters, I got to know him better, I think, than when I was with him. Realmente tus últimas cartas me han mostrado mucho más cómo eres, cómo piensas y qué sientes. Cada día que pasa estoy deseando que llegue el día de verte nuevamente. Me parece que mediante estas cartas estás conociéndome mucho.
And the correspondence from her got more intense as well.
Little by little, there's this deeper feeling, you know, and just trying to keep that connection going. This is a letter from Eric. Yo quiero cerrar mis ojos y que suceda lo que suceda, pero más importante es la vivencia que se tiene en el momento por el momento.
We wrote letters for 4 years.
It felt good every time that I would get these letters, and it was just really flattering, and I would respond to that. Tú y yo siempre unidos, así, así, así. Olvídate del tiempo. Y quizás así olvidas tu tristeza y verás tan solo la nobleza de mi amor sincero.
So this is the picture Liliana sent me. I framed this and had it on my desk for the entire time I'm writing back and forth.
But even though we had this ongoing romantic relationship, long distance, I never thought that I would even see him again.
Tengo una curiosidad bárbara por saber qué les has dicho a tus papás para que te dejen venir sin problema a Bolivia. My family tells me that I announced I'm going to go to Bolivia and I'm going to marry this girl. They were fully expecting me to come home married or brokenhearted. It was unfinished business. I had to know. I had to go see her.
And I was really nervous because I thought, oh my God, after all these years, what's gonna happen? He came out and I looked at him and it was just like we knew each other forever. And it was just true romance. But I never thought I'm gonna marry this guy. Didn't cross my mind. It was just like, this is great, we see each other, we have this great romance. Then he's going back. One evening, he says to me, I wanna marry you.
The emotion of the moment, it just carried me through, and I just popped the question right there when we were in her room.
Like, how am I going to marry you? You just came here. This is impossible. And I said to him, I can't. He left, and I was heartbroken.
I went back and actually wrote her another letter.
And he said, if you marry me, I promise I will make you the happiest woman. If I ever fail, all you have to do is show me this letter. And I said, okay, I'll marry you. But I know that my parents are not going to agree. And then I said, okay, then let's go marry without anybody knowing.
We ended up taking the train to La Paz, and we had a civil ceremony there. It was a dream come true for me.
We were in this plaza when my cousin showed up, and he saw me there and like, what are you doing here? So I had to go see my aunt, and when I went to see her, I told her the truth. The first thing she did is call my mother. And so when we got to Sucre, phone call from my mom. How could you do this to us? Your dad doesn't even want to talk to you. So I went by myself. I told Eric, just wait here. I'm gonna go meet with my parents, deal with this whole thing, and then I'll tell you when to come.
I was terrified. I was terrified because I figured the wheels can come off this train with this.
And I told my mom, look, you know that he and I had this relationship ongoing for years. You know that he was always writing me. It's gonna be okay. This is my decision. And finally, they said, okay.
They saw that she had made a decision. That this is what she wanted, and they really respected that.
And so there we were. I was suddenly packing bags. It was terrifying to come to a completely unknown culture, no language, leaving my family, my friends, everything behind. It wasn't easy. It was very hard.
We've got all kinds of emotions to deal with. She's leaving home. She's leaving her mom and dad behind. She's leaving her country and her culture and everything behind. And we're on our way to the United States. Super exciting for me. I was thrilled that she was taking the big sort of life-altering challenge.
It was the best decision I made.
To reconnect with this girl and to go down there and ask her to marry me, that was the best decision I ever made in my whole life. Yeah, those are our wedding pictures.
Yeah.
That's our first
That's
puppy
the Dane.
in our first house.
That's the Great Dane. Oh, I love this. This is my favorite picture, one of my favorite pictures of Kyle. All right, sweetheart.
Love you.
Love you
Ciao,
too.
hijo.
Bye, babe.
I wrote this quote from the Beatles in my diary. I want you so bad. I want you. It's driving me mad.